Character lore is one of the most important things when creating a compelling and interesting unit. Besides visuals, it is the gateway that a player has to who a character is and what they stand for. Today, we will be studying one fact for each playable character about their stories. This is a 3-parter series, so please like and subscribe if you want to see more. It will really help the channel. Please also stay tuned at the end for some important announcements. Let's begin. Albedo. The Kreide Prince's alchemy doesn't come from the arts practiced in the current present nations, and it is said that perhaps the reason why he is regarded as such a genius is because the way of his magic is so unique to only himself that no one, not even Timaeus and Sucrose, could even think of recreating such magnificence. That is because his alchemy comes from the long-extinct civilization of Conria, known as the Art of Chemia. The Art of Chemia births life and creates existence into creation. It can also be theorized that Albedo is not human, and rather a creation birthed from chalk, suggested by this quote. Chalk is a spotless soil and was used to make primordial man. Amber. The outrider of the Knights of Avonius is known for her callousness and immense dedication to the Knights. However, the title Outrider itself carries weight for Amber. You see, 4 years ago, the Outrider division was faced with obsolescence, and one of its members at the time defected due to the struggle. This was Amber's grandfather, a man that she had looked up to for so long and had dreamed to follow in the footsteps of. When the Outrider's division was slowly dissipating, he disappeared, never to be seen again. It was because of this trauma that Amber vowed to be an endless beacon of light to the people of Mondstadt, and now we see the Crimson Knight in his stead, a young girl with the eyes of an eagle and the cautious cunning of a bunny rabbit. Did you also know that Amber's knight title is Crimson Knight? Because I didn't. Barbara. Barbara has always been a bright and cheery girl, so much so that she only allows herself 30 seconds to be depressed for the day. I wish I will only allow myself 30 seconds to be depressed for the day, but I digress. Another interesting fact of her tale is that Alice is the one that suggested she be an idol, and that she was inspired to ask Barbara to start performing based off of a magazine known as the Idol magazine. Beidou. Captain Beidou of the Crux Fleet is notorious and unforgiving against those that pose a threat to herself and the crew. One of those threats was the legendary monster of the ocean blue, Fischl, an abomination vile and wretched, at once a dragon and a fish, and the nightmare for those who dare tread in its waters. It was by her great sword, however, that such a beast was silenced forever. It was at the crack of dawn when the captain had first heard the waves change, and from the waters erupted a leviathan like no other. With one swing of her claymore, the leviathan's head split open, and the sound of thunder filled the heavens. A single bolt of purple light struck the ocean in front of the captain, and in its wake was an immaculate jewel. The Archons have blessed her, for as she was bathed in the blood of her nemesis, she grasped the vision proudly. Bennett. Bennett is often seen as a happy-go-lucky adventurer of the guild, a little accident-prone disaster child of Mondstadt. However, even he has to think about his own mortality, despite so many close calls that could have ended his life. Bennett fears death. Well, he did. Until he realized something important about being an adventurer. Your death isn't the end of your tale, but rather the beginning of it. Praiseworthy stories and legends come from your demise, and ballads and hymns are sung in your honor, or of your many great deeds. To him, death may be something fortunate. Not that fortune has anything to do with him. Chongyun, the great exorcist of Liyue, has a lot of tales about his adventures, especially with the young heir of the Feiyun Commerce Guild. However, even he has his own doubts of his status in life. Because of his congenital positive yang energy, he is often having to decline a lot of invitations in his life due to his condition. It was when Xingqiu opened the topic of his yang energy that he had come to such a realization. If you were able to master your positive congenital energy and rid the world of all evil spirits, what would you do after that? It was at this time that he realized just how much of his life had been whisked away by his condition, and even he had not realized what would he do beyond exorcism. Perhaps, maybe by that time, he considered going to a hot spring. Diluc of Mondstadt. Master Diluc of the Dawn Winery is an esteemed individual of Mondstadt. However, the dapper gentleman in black held his own skeletons in the closet. When he left Mondstadt, he traveled all across the Seven Nations in search of the truth of what happened to his father, and that is when he learned about the Fatui Harbingers and the counterfeit visions that they have been manufacturing in the shadows. Delusions. However, as he pried deeper into the workings of the Fatui, he himself became a target of the 11. They narrowly escaped death at the hands of the Fatui Harbingers, had it not been for an observer from the north. It was when this mysterious individual had approached Diluc with the purposes of hiring him into an underground intelligence network. That is how Diluc knows a lot about Mondstadt, and the secrets it swept under the rug. Eula. Despite being an aristocrat, Eula fights to bring redemption to the name that was sullied by greed, prejudice, and corruption. However, that is not always what is said about her. Despite her noble goals and ambitions, she is often the victim of discrimination and hostility. Shops would refuse to sell her goods, restaurants would put no care and attention into her orders, and the citizens on her patrol route would often refuse to cooperate with her. When faced with such conflict, she often bites back sternly and swears vengeance on those who have wronged her, which seemed to work like magic. The conflict immediately ceases without having to escalate an all-out confrontation. Perhaps she says as a mantra of some sort to prevent others from taking the initiative and starting anything harmful, without any actual intention of following through with such hostility. Also, did you know that Eula is a talented chef? That is because the Lawrence clan believe that there is no one else qualified to serve the noble house, rather than the people of the house itself.
The Prinzessin River Utelong is seen by many for her opulence, grace, tact, and extensive usage of such mortal lexicon. However, it is not uncommon for those who defy such magnificence to delve into unorthodox thoughts about the Prinzessin regarding the history of her birth. Hark those blasphemers who dare taint the tale of the Prinzessin with their destructive claims and untrue monikers. However, perhaps the truth shall be unveiled when considering the existence of the Prinzessin's many pseudonyms.
Sorry, I felt as though it was appropriate to do that. You cannot tell me otherwise. Beneath the guise of the Prinzessin lies a young girl who loves the tale of the princess from another land. Amy is the name of such a girl. Unfit to follow amongst her fellow peers, she indulged herself in the world beyond the pages. But, just like the universe of flowers for Princess Fischl, entropy begot destruction, and the young girl had to grow up. On her 14th birthday, When she came to her parents for comfort after her peers had refused to accommodate her quirks, she was instead met with gentle words of exasperation. It was then that the voice that once lit up her world faded into darkness. On the same day was when she met the flapping of wings, and she heard a voice calling out her name once more. Fischl. These are 10 characters who I got highlights of from their stories, and I have to admit, I really love their tales so much. Genshin has done a wonderful job in keeping their stories concise and colorful, and reading them all is such a wonderful feeling. Alright, special announcement. I've started streaming. I just do chatting and stuff. I'm not really a Genshin streamer, and I'm more happy to just sit back while I do my reviewers and talk to some people. It's a way to keep myself productive while I'm writing scripts, reading, and stuff like that. So if you want to know more updates and content, feel free to check me out there. Part 2 and Part 3 of this series will come out shortly, so please check them out. I'm also planning to do a Who Are Aether and Lumine character theory and study video, so please wait for those too. And as always, my name is Aster, and thanks for studying with me. It was at this time that he realized just how much of his life had been wixed? Really? And the counterfeit why can I say that?